The Civil Procedure Code in Order 26 gives the power to the court to establish or constitute commission under section 75 to 78, and the commissions are for several purposes which are mentioned in the Order 26. Basically, when we look into these provisions, the commissions are constituted for several purposes. One of them is Rule 9, that is to make local investigation. The commission can be issued by the court to any person whom the court thinks fit, and the court can direct that person to make local investigation in that place and to report on that matter for any of these reasons, to see that any matter in a dispute which is there before the court is clarified or it is elucidated before the court, so that the court can take the decision on that. Secondly, for if there is any property which is in question in that particular case, to ascertain the market value of the property, it can be looked into. The commission can make the local investigation for that matter, or the commission can determine any amount of mean profits or damages or annual net profits if it is necessary for the purpose of that particular case before the court. So these are the purposes where the commission can be constituted. Now the procedure of the commissioner is stated in Rule 10, where the commissioner has the powers to enter into that place after such local inspection. What he needs is necessary, and whatever evidence has been taken by him in that particular place, he shall enter that and he shall return this evidence together with his report in writing signed by him to the court. So the court can fix a date for that, and the commissioner will produce or present that report to the court. Now the question is, when the report of the commissioner has been presented, how much value should be given to the report of the commissioner? That is the question we are going to look into with the help of a case. Tushar Kanti and others versus Savitri Devi and others. This is a case reported in All India Reporter 1996, Supreme Court, page number 2752. So in this case, there is a liquidation proceeding in a court sale in which the appellants A purchases a property in a sale, in a liquidation sale. 22(1)(c), that's the property which they have purchased. When they purchase the property, it is found that in that same property there is one more part which is 22(1)(d), which was owned by the respondents. Let us name them as B. So they owned this property which they have purchased long back from the same estate agents who were liquidated, as we said just now. A, as he has purchased the property, he applies to the court, that is with the leave of the company judge before the liquidator, he applies for the demarcation of property. There the respondent files for injunction, saying that on the garb of demarcating the property, these people are intruding in our peaceful possession and they are trying to take possession of what is our part. We are owning this since years and we are there as the owners of the property, we are staying in that part. So looking into this, the court appointed a commission to demarcate the property. One special officer was appointed, along with him one surveyor was appointed to survey the property and to assist him. The report of the commission was presented before the court. Now this report showed that A, that is the appellant, has encroached into B's property already. There was an injunction that he should not encroach by another Alipur court. They had already obtained the injunction. Again, in spite of that, A has already got into the property and he has made 2 holes in the wall there. That was the report of the commission. Looking into this, the court immediately issues a mandatory injunction to A to close the holes. Mandatory injunction is to do something or not to do something. So you have made the holes, so you close the holes. That was the direction given to the appellant, that is to A. Now A appeals against this to the High Court, to a division bench. Now this was a matter decided by a single bench of the High Court. Of course, it is a liquidators court. Then it was appealed to the division bench of the High Court. See, there were several matters pending between these two parties. There were other cases also pending. Looking into all that, the High Court appointed another commission, and the High Court asked the commission to go to that place once again for local investigation, allow both the parties to take possession, because both are owners. A has purchased the property, B is there in the property, he is the owner of the property. So let them both take the possession, but the demarcation has to be done. The second commission report on demarcation, how it was done is, There was another special officer appointed, and there was another Mr. Saha to help him as a surveyor, that is a survey officer. Both of them, they went to the property and they prepared a report and they presented the report. Now, according to that report, the division bench gave an direction to both A and B that you take possession of your respective parts, but you see that you don't claim any equity on that part until the matter is finally decided by the court. Pending that matter, that is actual title, till it is decided, because the title has to be decided by other proceedings. So, till it is decided, both of you can take possession according to the commission's report, based on that report of demarcation. Now, this report was not admitted by B, that is the respondents. They object to the report, saying that it is not proper. So, they filed an objection and the case was called. On that day, B does not appear. He does not come, they neither came before the court. Now, their application is there, they have to come and speak before the court. They did not appear. So, as they did not appear, High Court took the decision by itself and High Court granted possession to B. Their application was dismissed, which was the objection to the report, it was dismissed. But in spite of that, the commission's report which was presented was ignored by the High Court. And the High Court gives a direction that you hand over the possession to B, because according to the earlier report, you have got into the property, you have encroached on the property and made holes in the property, therefore you are not entitled to possession and the possession should be given to B. That was the High Court decision. Now, against this decision, A has filed an appeal, which is the case before us. The appeal of A to the Supreme Court is this case. Now, the Supreme Court has to consider two things, that is the contention of A and contention of B. Now, what A says that the commission report which has been put before the court, that is the division bench, has to be given effect because it is an important piece of evidence. Instead of that, they have ignored it completely. High Court has ignored it and it has given effect to the earlier report from the company court. B says that the decision is proper because A cannot get his title established just on the basis of a commissioner's report on demarcation. He cannot get his title established. He cannot enter into the property unless his title is established. And therefore, what they have given effect to the earlier report, that is proper because that report clearly shows A's conduct. And therefore, it is a proper decision. These are the two contentions. Now, the question before the court is, ignoring of the commission's report by the High Court, was it proper? So, the second report of the commission, which was constituted by the division bench itself, and the division bench itself has given the decision, ignoring that report. It only looks into the earlier facts. It does not look into the report which has been presented by the commission. So, whether that is a proper thing is a question before the court. Whether this report of the commission is an evidence, yes, it is constituting an important item of evidence. So, while constituting that commission also, the Supreme Court has seen that the surveyor has been appointed by the consent of the parties. Secondly, the surveyor and the special officer have gone to that place and done all the procedures required as a commission has to do. So, it is a constituted commission. Even in spite of that, this evidence is ignored and the possession is given to the respondents, just based on the earlier reports, which was done by a single bench. And there is also another contention that when that report was objected to by the respondents and they were asked to come before the court and appear, they did not appear. At that time, their objection was not considered and it was rejected. That means once the objection is rejected, that report which is objected to stands good as a piece of evidence. So, when it is standing as a piece of evidence, how can it be ignored? So, the Supreme Court looks into these facts. The Supreme Court says that once a constitution of a commission takes place and the commission has given his report, the court should look into the commission's report first as an important piece of evidence. This particular case, just on the basis of non-consideration of vital piece of evidence, it is vitiating the ultimate conclusion of the division bench of the High Court. So, the Supreme Court laid down the principle that the report of the commission constitutes an important piece of evidence, it cannot be rejected except on sufficient grounds. This judgment of the division bench of High Court is set aside, and it remitted the appeal to the High Court once again and asked the High Court to constitute another division bench and dispose of this matter at the earliest, considering the report of the commission which was presented to it. So, just because of the non-consideration of the commission's report, the decision given by the High Court was set aside. That is the important point we need to consider in this. So, how much importance should be given to the commission's report? And if the commission's report contains facts which is a data before the court, to decide that data or those facts should be taken into consideration. The court just cannot brush aside or ignore the commission's report. The evidentiary value of the report of commission has to be considered. Rule 10 sub rule 2 says that the commission report constitutes an important piece of evidence. It cannot be rejected except on sufficient grounds. For this case stands for a ruling for this particular proposition and for this particular principle which has to be established. Tushar Kanti and others versus Savitri Devi and others, which is reported in All India Reporter 1996, Supreme Court, and this speaks about the importance of Rule 10 sub rule 2, wherein a commission's report constitutes an important piece of evidence and cannot be rejected except on sufficient grounds. I hope that this has been of help to you in your study and in your practice. Please give your comments, share it with your friends, whoever could make use of it, and thank you for all your attention. Thank you.